Guess what? We're back to talk about prospects, trades, and who could possibly be a black ace for the San Diego Gulls and who could make a difference in the Ducks. We'll talk about that on this episode of Locked On Anaheim Ducks.
You're Locked On Ducks, your daily podcast on the Anaheim Ducks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Anaheim Ducks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. I'm your host, Jason JD Hernandez, and joining me on this very podcast once again, you know him, you love him, John Broadbent from Defend the Nest. John, it's been a while, so to speak.
You can't get rid of me.
Yeah.
Sorry about the alien headphones.
It's all good. So, first off, want to thank you for coming back because I feel like we still have a lot to talk about that would be of interest to both Gulls and Ducks fans.
Absolutely.
And I think it's important that we do talk about that. So I think where we need to start is some of the Ducks prospects that are in juniors right now. And specifically, let's talk about these big trades that happen in juniors. I mean, there was a couple of literal blockbuster deals. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I can't even think of another expletive or exponential word to define that one of those trades.
Yeah.
There's been nothing like it in the history of that I can remember.
Yeah. Yeah. We got to start with the big one. The big one that took place in the WHL. And John, you were pointing out something to me before we started recording, is that each league has different rules as far as who and what can be traded, right?
Yes, I didn't know this until today when I read an article in The Athletic, but the OHL and the WHL have different rules. The OHL, you're not allowed to trade first rounders, but you are allowed to trade 16 and 17-year-olds, whereas the WHL, you can trade first rounders, but you cannot trade 16-year-olds, I think.
Yep.
16-year-olds. So, yeah, which is a lot more, as the article pointed out, saner and nicer in that 16-year-old kids are not being uprooted from their families and sent across the country.
Right. Which I think is fine. So let's talk about that WHL trade first, because that was the big one that kind of threw everyone for a loop between the Everett Silvertips and the Kamloops Blazers. Now, Olen Zellweger has been kind of Canada's darling, so to speak. He just won gold. Would it be out of bounds for me to say that Olen Zellweger was the best defenseman and maybe even the best skater in Team Canada this past World Juniors?
I think Kings fans might have a grievance with that, but as a biased Ducks fan, I would have to say yes. And it was very nice to see how far Tyson Hines progressed up the Canada depth chart during that tournament to find himself alongside both Zellweger or Clark at various points, because he's a good complementary defenseman. It was mentioned on the broadcast that he's a good complementary defenseman. Of course, Del Mastro was the number one physical defensive defenseman for the team, but Hines really progressed up there.
Yep.
Sorry, I turned that around.
No, Kings fans will definitely be like, oh, he wasn't. No. Even a lot of my buddies saying, like, no, Zellweger was the best defenseman out there, and it wasn't even close. It really wasn't.
It wasn't. But I could see how some Kings fans would have disagreed. Just because they're Kings fans.
I know. Anyway.
So anyway, back to this massive trade.
Back to this massive trade.
I don't even know how you managed to trade 10 draft picks in one trade, but somehow
they did it. So the Kamloops Blazers, who, by the way, this is most important, they are going to be hosting the Memorial Cup this year. That's the big thing.
And that's also a bad thing for us Gulls fans, because what that means is we're not going to see Zellweger at all this season. What the Memorial Cup is, it's a 4-team round-robin tournament that takes the champions of each of the 3 CHL leagues plus the Memorial Cup host. So even if the Blazers get eliminated in the first round of the WHL playoffs, they still get to play in the Memorial Cup round robin, which does not start until May 26th.
Yeah.
So
But
that's a whole month.
Kamloops just got a whole lot better because they got Olen Zellweger and Ryan Hofer from the Everett Silvertips. So those are two solid players that they got from Everett.
And they join.
Now,
All
yeah.
of them,
Now, what happened on the other side? What did Everett get for those two players? Well, you ready for this?
take a deep breath.
Drew Englot, Caden Hamill, Rylan Pierce, Jack Baker, a 2023 first, a 2023 second, a 2023 fourth, a 2024 first, a 2024 fifth, a 2025 first, a 2025 third, a 2026 first, second, conditional, and sixth. How many fingers am I holding up?
10 to 20.
10
I
picks.
I think it took you a whole hour to read out that whole trade.
10 draft picks and 4 players. What?
And also, what we don't mention is also the Blazers. He joins the Blazers that have 2 of his World Junior teammates already. And shout out to Kamloops. That's the town that was closest to my student exchange town when I lived in Canada. So I've actually seen a Blazers game back in 2001.
Yeah, those were the days.
Just for shits and giggles, I looked up what the roster was. They had Scotty Upshaw and Eric Christensen and Devin Dubnyk.
Doobie.
Had no idea when I was watching that game that those players were on that team, but now I do.
Yeah, now you know. But good lord, 10 players? What the hell?
Yeah, it is kind of. I don't even remember any trades like that happening last year. It seemed to be only the OHL that did big trades last year, anyway, from what I remember.
Yeah, and I remember there was maybe an 8-pick trade. I think that was it, but 10 picks and 4 players. That's definitely blockbuster in that league.
And it's very frenzied. Like, I saw a lot of post-trade reaction from Blazers fans that were kind of like, well, I hope they know what they're doing because that's really mortgaging the future. And I mean, I don't know how it works for juniors teams. I guess the draft is a big deal for them, or maybe it's not the way they're throwing draft picks around. But I don't know.
I mean, they're drafting kids out of Bantam pretty much.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of a crapshoot.
It would be, right? Because they're only kids.
Yeah.
Like literally. So I'm sure a lot of like hometown kids probably just play their way onto a team anyway. So it's, yeah.
By the way, the funny thing was that conditional pick. It's like, well, we're not going to make that trade work unless we throw in a conditional pick in 2026.
I think
there is some.
Oh,
go ahead.
Well, somebody commented like, "Thank God they threw that conditional pick in there. Otherwise, this trade would not have made sense." Yeah.
I was gonna make the joke. There is some 13-year-old kid out there in like Moose Jaw or Medicine Hat or something like that. There's a 13-year-old kid out there that's going to be that 2026 conditional pick.
Yeah, true.
Imagine the trade tree for that.
And the trivia.
Oh, the weird trivia.
Who was that pick?
These trades are wild.
So that's what disheartened me, is that that means that we're not going to see Zellweger on the Gulls this year.
No, and I'm still pissed off that Zellweger got only 1 game last year. Should have been 2.
I know.
Should have been.
So
I mean, I know that's not the reason why Bouchard did not come back this year, but
it's not a good look. No,
it didn't help.
No. So let's just move on from that, and
let's move on from that because
go to the OHL trade.
Yeah, actually, we are up against it, so we're gonna talk about the OHL trade and talk about Black Aces. So we'll get to that on the other side. But let's talk about Built Bar first. Best tasting protein bar ever, with 130 calories, 17 grams of protein. Built Bars are great for you if your New Year's resolution is to get healthier. I mean, I should have made that my resolution because, I've already gained a few pounds.
I didn't do a New Year's resolution. I decided this year that New Year's resolutions, you're essentially gaslighting yourself.
Yeah, they're overrated anyway.
You're
They're
setting
overrated.
yourself up.
Yeah. But if you're the kind of person that has resolutions, then head over to built.com right now and use the promo code LOCKEDON15 to get 15% off your next order of these delicious Built bars and also Built Puffs, by the way. Built Puffs are great. Even if you're not like resolutions person, I recommend the Churro Puff. The Churro Puff, that's my favorite flavor of all time.
Send some
really
to me.
Good.
I'll try them.
Yeah. Built Bar, the best tasting protein bar ever. Okay, let's go back to the OHL really quick. Because we had another big trade involving the Saginaw Spirit and the Ottawa 67s. This one wasn't as big, but still involved a lot of draft picks. Mm-hmm. So Pavel Mentikov was this year's first round pick from the Anaheim Ducks. He goes to Ottawa. Minty does. Mm-hmm. And Saginaw got, okay, this won't be as long, but I will take a deep breath again because there's a lot of picks. A 2025 second, a 2025 second, a 2026 second, a 2024 third, 2024 third, 25 third, 25 third, 25 fourth, 26 fourth. That's it.
Huh.
9 draft picks.
They're all 2 years in advance, so have they already dealt all their current ones, maybe?
And I love that Saginaw put, the second round pick from Ottawa, the second round pick from Sault Ste. Marie, the second round pick from, I don't even know what team that is. Sault Ste. Marie, Kingston, Ottawa. So, okay. So a bunch of these are Ottawa's pick, but there's a couple of them from Sault Ste. Marie as well.
Man, junior teams are no joke. Like, I wonder if they must be massive corporations that, like, enough to have a guy that just handles the business of knowing who's got all these picks. That would be confusing as hell. Like,
I know. It's like NFL, like, 4th, 5th round picks.
Yeah.
No, it's like NHL 4th, 5th round picks. Maybe not that bad. No.
But they seem to move around so much more.
Yeah. No, I got it. Baseball.
Oh, yeah, true.
Yeah, baseball.
I'd only just learned that they've got a crazy amount of rounds in baseball.
Oh my gosh, it's ridiculous. Yeah, and 2 drafts. They have 2 drafts.
Well, the only time I learned that was like it made our national news that one of a New Zealander got drafted. And I was like, oh, cool. And then it's like, when I asked my American friend, it's like, oh, that's like, nobody cares about that round. Those players never make it. It's just like, oh.
Hey, Mike Piazza made it from like the 1,000th pick. It's far and few in between. You never know.
But I digress.
So he could make Team Australia or Team New Zealand in the world. Never mind. But let's talk about Minty for a second, shall we?
Sure. Actually, I'll give you an exclusive. I'm going to make a meme. I saw somebody, like I said, yeah, Minty's his nickname, right? I don't know how long that's been a thing, but I like it. And we have a sweet or candy here called Minties. And they had a tagline that used to be, "It's moments like these you need Minties." So I'm going to make that meme. Nobody else will probably get it, but maybe it'll happen.
Wait, a candy from there called Minties?
Called Minties, yeah. So it's like mint flavored, just hard white nougat, I guess. It's just one of those hard candies that you suck. And it tastes like mint. Yeah.
Is it spelled Mintys or Ties?
YS. You're looking it up now.
Of course I'm looking it up.
And
whoa, Minties.
There you go. And there's probably commercials on YouTube where, yeah, the tagline is like, "It's moments like you need Minties." I can't remember exactly what happens in these ads, but I think some of them are pretty funny.
Oh, man. I need some candy right now.
Never been a fan of peppermint or mint flavored candy, but
it's spelled Minties, but that still looks.
I thought it was that's typical Kiwi to put an IE where there should be a Y. Oh yeah, you're right.
Oh yeah,
My memory, my memory serves me wrong.
free shout out to Minties in New Zealand.
Me and Minties. If you go, yeah, I just Google it now. Straight up, it comes straight up with that. There's so many videos. I'll share them later. Um,
But yeah,
cool.
back to the trade. Back
Yes,
to that
yes,
trade. So
yes,
back to Minty.
yes. I was surprised at this. I think a lot of people were too, because Saginaw are still on the playoff hunt, very much so. Um,
Yeah, I was
yeah,
surprised too. I mean, Ottawa is in the playoff hunt as well,
they're top of the
and
division.
they'll probably be going far. Are they
Yes,
top now?
yeah. When I checked
Oh,
their tops,
jeez.
I was like, it makes sense that he's gone there, but also Saginaw, like, why'd they tear it down as per se? But I don't know. Maybe they just wanted to recoup an unexpectedly good season from him. Maybe they didn't expect him to be that great, and they're like, just cash in now. I don't know.
Or maybe they thought they couldn't top London.
Oh yeah, fair call. And
Yeah.
I mean, I should have realized this when both he and Goche were drafted, but because they're late birthdays, they are eligible for the AHL next year. So that's it. They're done with junior after this year.
Hmm. You know, you could always say something about a certain player that goes far in juniors playoffs. And I think this is where the Ducks talk kind of comes in a little bit as far as AHL talk, because we have to mention one player that went far in juniors last year that led his team to an OHL championship. Mason McTavish.
Ah, I'm glad you were going
Be-
there.
yeah, because McTavish had that little stint in San Diego last year. It was
Yep.
an injury stint, but you know he had a few games there, and the thought was that maybe McTavish could get more games with San Diego, but he kind of proved everybody wrong in training camp. That he's going to make it right away, and he did, and he's proved a lot of naysayers wrong, and I think that experience in the OHL championship last year helped tremendously.
And in terms of to the present day, uh, my lamenting that we're not going to get the likes of Zellweger and now likely even Chugov as black aces to the Gulls at the end of the season because of them being traded to good teams in their junior seasons, and their seasons will continue on, and the Gulls seasons will end. Uh, McTavish is a possibility to come down once the Duck season finishes. He is eligible. They'll just need to paper transact him to the Gulls roster.
Yeah, but I think the Ducks season ends at almost the same time as the Gulls. That's the problem, is they
So they have to
both
do a time
end on the
slot.
same weekend,
Oh, okay.
so that wouldn't exactly work out that way.
So there must be a nuance of the Gulls playing more games this season. Because usually the Ducks
Yeah,
would finish and the Gulls would have a couple more.
I
Um,
know. I mean, but let's keep it at least honest for the fans here. Both the Ducks and the Gulls are in the bottom in their standings right now.
yes, but I still believe.
I mean, we have to believe. I
I still.
believe more in the Gulls than the Ducks right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Only because we have to. The Ducks are going for a draft pick. That's fine. The Gulls do not have that.
Yeah, but going back to players getting that experience, if the Gulls don't make the playoffs, wouldn't it be more awesome to see one or more of these guys go that deep into juniors playoffs?
Yeah, I mean, watch them all duke it out against each other. Um,
God, if
that
that
happened.
happens, I'm gonna have a heart attack.
That happened with Morand and Comtois, I think.
That's right, it did. They played
Morand,
against each other.
yeah, Morand went deep with the Titan.
Yeah.
They went to the Memorial Cup. Um, yeah, so the more players on teams, the better. And yes, it could happen. But secretly, I'm hoping for some of them to join the Gulls. Right now, it's looking like my boy Shigal is the best option. Um,
I think it's the only option right now. I think the only option is
th-
for Sean Shigell to come to San Diego after Calgary maybe misses the playoff. Well, I don't know. I don't think they'll miss
there's
the
going to be at
playoffs.
least one upset. There's got to be at least one upset. So, and especially in the queue, and we've got a bunch of guys in the queue. So there's going to be at least one upset. There could be Warren, Hines, or Actually, Warren and Leno are on the same team, aren't they? So yeah,
It's probably gonna be maybe Hines.
yeah.
If any team could get upset in the queue, it could be the Phoenix from Sherbrooke, and that's it.
So junior teams fans are hating listening to this, but we are hoping for upsets because
Yep.
we want.
Especially from the queue.
Yes,
You got Luno Gaucher, you got
Gaucher,
Hines, you got some
Warren,
players. Warren. So you never know.
and then
Oh,
let's not forget about Pasta. Pasta Joff will come down eventually.
Pasta. Pasta, I think, is just the sweetest kid, by the way. But Sarnia's looking pretty good
I
since
know,
that
yeah.
trade.
He got and he got dealt quite early in the season.
Yeah. So you
So
never know.
yeah,
We've got one more aspect to talk about before we wrap up, and that's going to be the college kids. So if you don't mind sticking around for another maybe 3 or 4 minutes, we'll talk about the
yep,
college kids quickly, wrap up.
sure, yep.
But first, let's talk about Bet Online, which is the one place that has you covered, the one place that we trust. Bet Online has you covered this season with more props, odds, lines than ever before, including the NFL playoffs are beginning this weekend. You have the NHL All-Star Game starting, NBA All-Star Game. You have all the other sports like horse racing. You have cricket. You have Aussie rules football. You have all these weird sports on there, but you know what? If you want to check them out, head over to BetOnline right now using either your mobile device or your laptop. BetOnline is the official online sportsbook of the Locked On Podcast Network, and please gamble responsibly. All right, let's do this.
Alrighty,
Let's talk
go to
about the college
college.
kids because there's a couple kids that we should be watching out for. Maybe for the Gulls this season, possibly for the Ducks in a year or two if things pan out. I mean, the college kid that I always want to talk about. I mean, there's a couple of them. Got to talk about Jackson Lacombe.
Yeah, yep. The mystery. Will he or won't he? Is he teasing
Yep,
us?
he
That's my
is.
concern. I mean, I've tweeted this several times and I've written about it as well. Worrying that Blake McLaughlin hasn't had such a great season, has now been sent down to Tulsa, and I worry if Lacombe looks at this being his former teammate and thinks, should I sign there? Should I go to a team that's got less of a hill for me to climb to get into the lineup? Um,
Yeah,
I mean, these college kids are probably eyeing up the expansion teams and going, I could crack that lineup. At the very least, I could be a star on their AHL team. Uh, but hopefully he does sign. Hopefully,
what are one or two other college kids that we should watch out for?
Henry Thrun, another will he or won't he? Sam Colangelo, who's in his junior season, so typically should sign after this one. If he doesn't, then he's another concern for next year. Um, and I just thought of him before. He doesn't get thought about a lot, but Trevor Janicki,
Oh, Yannick.
Yannick, I think he's getting all
Yeah,
right.
from Notre Dame,
Notre Dame,
otherwise
yeah,
known as Notre Dame.
Notre Dame. It's sad that I only think of it as that place where that football guy went to, with the
Rudy.
nope, the one
No.
that the Hawaiian guy. The
Oh, yeah, that guy whose name I forget all the time.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
watched the Netflix documentary about it.
Oh, that. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah. You mentioned a name that I had on my radar as well. I do think that the kid from Northeastern, Sam Colangelo, is an interesting one that I think could possibly be a black ace because, as you mentioned, NCAA hockey, they kind of have like the Frozen Four, but before that, they have the knockout round. If Northeastern gets knocked out early, Colangelo could be a black ace, yes?
yeah, and gonna be bold and say, I mean, because it's happened every year, the girls are gonna get at least one college kid. Like last year, they got Lapina out of
Mhm.
nowhere. I was not expecting him to sign after 1 year. Um, and it escapes me who was Limoges the year before.
Limoges,
Yeah.
Penn State.
Yeah. So they're gonna, even if it's not a Ducks prospect, if it's an unsigned guy like Limoges, they're gonna get at least somebody.
Yeah. Yeah, so that'll give the Gulls at least some hope going into late March, early April, if they're still in the playoff race by then.
Yes,
Yep, but
they can do it.
they've got a
They can do
ways
it.
to go.
I believe.
Well, that's going to do it for that kind of look at the prospects and the youngins, as they say. But it was fun. It was fun talking prospects. It's been a while since we've done that.
I love talking prospects.
Yep. Yeah, once I finally like delve in, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember why I love covering this. I remember why I like talking about the prospects because
and then you think of more names. You're like, oh, and there's that guy, and there's that guy. So the future's there. It's happening.
yeah, they start looking at the highlights. You're like, dang, like the
Yes,
Ducks are stacked with prospects.
I know. It's good to be excited about like players again. Yes.
Yeah. See, that it's so far removed from talking about the other game that I'm like, oh yeah, there's hope for the future.
Exactly.
No more drinking. Anyway, I'm only partially kidding, folks. Where can I'm gonna let you talk for the next few seconds. Where can they find you and all your work?
Just remember, pain is temporary. Pain is temporary. You can find me at defendthenest.com. That is www.defendthenest.com. On Twitter at defendthenestsd, defendthenestsd, and you'll find me.
Podcasts.
Soon to be a podcast. Yes, that's well, it's actually out there, but I'm doing new ones. I haven't done one in a while, but I will do new ones. I promise. Got a brand new microphone. That's on all the platforms, I think. Spotify, Apple, whatever the other ones are.
Wherever you find them.
Wherever you find your podcasts. Yeah. And I'll spam Reddit and Facebook and all that.
Wait, can you do an American accent?
Don't make me try. No, because it actually cracks me up when I watch the girls' games and I see the boards with their heads on them, and it's like I hear those ads on the broadcast all the time, like Dinos, G-rolls, somethings. So
Because
when I get there eventually, I'm gonna be like, "Whoa, what's that place?" But yeah, I'm gonna sound like a country bumpkin when I'm there. No, I can fake an accent if I need to. Just like if people can't understand me properly, then yeah, I'll try to Americanize it up. But, yeah.
well, I'm not gonna try. I'm not gonna try. I'm not gonna try a Kiwi accent here. But where can they find me? Let's see. You can find me right here on Locked On Ducks. There's a little thing right there. See that little thing that says Locked On Ducks? That's where you can find the podcast. Hey, look at that. On Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, Amazon, YouTube, so you could see what we look like. Let's see. They could find me on the sidelines at Acrisure Arena because
Yes.
I'm the voice of the Valley.
Actually, not see, more hear.
The voice of the Valley.
Man, does this sound cool to have your voice like boom through the whole arena?
Oh my God. It sounds amazing.
Oh my
Like,
god!
I
Cool.
actually went back and heard, like, wow, I actually sound very clear. I also do make it a point to enunciate like hell when I'm at the arena. And when I enunciate, it sounds so good. So I don't know if you watch other teams broadcast. I know you typically don't.
No, because my AHL subscription is only for girls' games. Sorry, I, I don't have the multi-team thing, just the one.
Well, the Gulls are playing at. Oh, I have a calendar right here. Duh.
Yeah.
See, I have a little calendar right here.
Cute.
And when do the Gulls come to town? Oh, they come to town January 22nd.
Sweet.
So I hope you'll watch. I sincerely hope you'll watch that game live.
I'll definitely watch it on replay if I can't watch it live because I think my folks are visiting that weekend.
There's also February 3rd and 4th.
Oh, stuck. All right, awesome.
A back-to-back. And then March 19th. All right. So you get to hear all those names booming on the microphone.
So good news, I get to hear that and hear you. Bad news, the Firebirds are very good, and the Gulls need to win.
Hey, best of both worlds. Just have that one go to overtime.
Yeah, okay. As long as the Gulls win.
Okay, I'll settle for overtime. OTLs are fine. Once again, John, thanks for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Good as always. Love talking to you. And
Yep.
thanks, everybody.
All right, and on behalf of John and myself, thanks for tuning in. I mentioned where you can find me, the podcast, and all that jazz. And once again, thank you all for the kind words, and thanks for your undying support. It is so appreciated. And you know what? Let's hope for some playoffs for the Gulls. You never know.
If
You
everyone
never
believes,
know.
if everyone believes it can happen.
Yep. Thanks again, buddy.
All right. Good to hear you.
For John and myself, for Locked On Gulls, this is JD Hernandez saying have a great rest of the weekend. Please continue to be safe out there. Be kind to one another. Be kind to all the Ducks and Gulls fans out there. And Ducks and Gulls fly together.